In this video, I'm going to show you how to create an InDesign template of a magazine article, and we are modeling this on Harper's magazine. You can use this InDesign template form to measure your publication, and then you'll be ready to put the values into your InDesign file. We're going to create a new file, change our units to inches. You can see these are what I measured when I was measuring my Harper's magazine. The width, the height. I'm going to start with 3 pages, 3 columns, the column gutter, and then the top, bottom, inside, outside margins. I'll click Create. And the first thing I'm going to do is create my title. The title is big and right here. And the easiest way to mimic the fonts used in a publication is to use the Adobe Capture extension. And I took a photograph of Harper's magazine. So I'm going to place it here in my document so that we can work off of it. With this image selected, you go to Object, Extract from Image, choose Type. This also allows you to capture colors as well. So I'm going to drag this around the text and click Find Similar Fonts. And it's looking for things in the Adobe font library that are close. So this Minnow banner looks really close. So at this point, I'm going to close this and I'm going to go to my browser to Adobe Fonts and I'm going to search for that font. You can see it's here. And isn't it pretty? I'm going to go to Activate Fonts and activate it. Now when I go back to InDesign, I can select my title and go to the Properties panel. And in my font area, I can write Minnow Banner. And you can see I've got a bunch of them to choose from. I think I'm going to choose Extra Bold. I know it is centered, it's all caps, and it's much larger. Let's see. I'm going to bump that up. That looks pretty good. I'm going to pull the leading down. And again, I'm just trying to get it to look like this one, and that looks pretty good. I'm going to move this image over onto the pasteboard. And I would use the same process to figure out what this font is. When I did it, I found a font called Cardo. So you will go ahead and do your subtitle, your byline, and the word memoir in the same process. Now I'm going to create a line across the top using my line tool. I'm going to click over here on the margin and hold Shift as I drag across the page. I'm going to create, give it a 0.5 weight stroke, and you could change the color here, but I'm going to leave it as black. If your model publication had rectangles or circles, you could use the shape tool here to create those things. Now I'm going to create my body text, which in this article is going to start on the bottom here in 3 columns and continue on to page 2. So using my type tool, I'm going to click and drag out boxes in each column. And InDesign will help you by snapping to the margins and the guidelines. And you can see I've already created text frames in these 3 columns as well. Now I need to tell InDesign to thread the text from here to here so that the text flows between my text frames. And the way I do that is with my selection tool. I click on this first one and click on this little square and then click over here to tell it to thread to there. And do the same process here to here and here all the way through for every text box that you want the main body of your text to run into. If you have text ready to go, you can copy and paste it in here. If you don't, you can use the type tool, click in this first box, right click, and choose Fill with Placeholder Text. I'm going to select the first paragraph and style it. The font I'm using is Cardo. Which I downloaded from the font library. The font size will be 8. The leading will be 10. I will justify it, and I will make a first line indent here. Once I've got this styled the way I like it, I want to be able to reproduce this style for the rest of the document. So I'm going to create a paragraph style. I'm going to click on the little plus sign here and name it body text. Now, as I select the rest of my document, I can apply that style and it will all look the same. So you will continue on this way, creating paragraph styles and applying them for this text and any other text style that you want to have in your design. Now I'm ready to add some images. First, I'm going to use my rectangle frame tool to drag out a frame for my image. It's going to be about here. With it still selected, I'll go ahead and place an image within the frame. If it needs to be resized, the easiest thing to start with usually is to go to the selection tool, right-click, choose Fitting, and Fill Frame Proportionally. My next problem is that this is sitting on top of my text. So I'm going to use my text wrap options here to tell it to wrap the text around the image and add a little padding as well. On page 3, I want another image. So again, I will create a frame. If you don't get the frame quite right the first time, that's okay. Just grab the selection tool and adjust the frame. And I'll place an image in that one as well. The next step is to create the parent page. A parent page is the place where you put any element that you want to appear on every single page or most pages in the same place. In this case, I'm going to add a running footer. So in my Pages panel, I will double click on the thumbnails next to a parent. And then I'm just going to use my text tool to create a frame down here for my running footer content. On this side, I'm going to put memoir and then the page number. And the way you get the page number is go to Type, Special Character, Markers, Current Page Number. And then I would just style this in whatever way I liked. You do have to remember that you have to create a right and left page because you have facing pages. So I'm going to create a copy of this and put it over here. And this content is going to be slightly different. Now, when you go back to the article, you can see that your footer is on the bottom of each page. The last step is to save it as a Adobe template file. So I'm going to go to File, choose Save As, and I'm going to name it Magazine Template. And instead of an InDesign document, I'm going to choose InDesign Template and save that.